Okay, so here we have it. The brisket turned out fantastically. Just wanted to show everybody it. The bark looks amazing. Looks really, really great. You can notice here on top, the bark was all the way across. Got nice and black, just how we like it. We trimmed it really well to make it so that, again, pointed out before, to make it so that none of the puddling occurs on top of the meat, which is something we really want to avoid. Trim it so it's all nice and smooth. The air flows over it. The moisture can flow over it also. Nothing puddles up on here on top of the flat. Get that really nice bark all the way across. Really nice, consistent. This is what the black pepper helps to create also. That texture really helps to attract that smoke. Get this bark that we're shooting for. So, gonna go ahead and start slicing it now. I always like to just start on this side over here with the flat, work my way across over to the point where we'll kind of cut it and then cut a little bit differently. So, just gonna go ahead and start here. Just, cut the end piece off. You know what? Just made a big boo-boo. No, we didn't. We're good. So here it is. You can see nice and jiggly, nice and wiggly. Exactly how we like it. Here's, the bottom side of it with all the fat and everything. Just looking really, really great. So, really happy with how this turned out and how everything went. Now we're just going to slice it across. Super tender, super good, super juicy, coming apart just like how I wanted it to. I'm actually going to try cutting it this way, see if we can kind of keep it together a little bit better. Oh yeah, there we go. Get that fat. And so, when I'm slicing it, I try to keep it about a 1/4 inch thick on the flat side. Just really try to keep it from, getting too thin, too thick. You kind of notice when you go to somebody's trying to compensate for a brisket that's maybe overcooked, they will try to, they'll try to cut it a little bit thicker to make it so it doesn't fall apart quite as easily. I also like to usually cut this in half. Now this is just a good piece, all the seasonings right there. Good piece to try. We'll go ahead and just try it real quick. Yeah, it tastes fantastic. Tastes exactly how I wanted it to. Exactly how I would expect it to taste. And you can kind of see here too, was shiny and wiggly. This is what the melting that tallow is going to do. And you don't really have to do it, but it's definitely something that's nice to do. Give you a little bit better shine to it and appeal to it, make it more tender, more soft. But anyways, kind of what I was saying with slicing, somebody goes extra thin. They're trying to compensate for it being dried out or not cooked enough or just tough till. So they go extra thin to try and give it that illusion of being nice and tender and soft. Or then you have the other way where they'll go too thick, where if it's overcooked or whatever and it's just falling apart or flaking, they'll try to compensate that way as well. For me, I just don't really like to have to do any of that. Just try to make it nice and consistent. About a 1/4 inch. Think about just like a pencil. Pencil width is a good kind of gauge to go with. So here it is. Nice, juicy, great fat up top there. Good rendering of the fat, and then just pulls right apart. not very hard at all, which is exactly how we want it. We want it to be able to, you know, stick together, hold together on its own, but at the same time, you know, as soon as you give it any kind of a tug or a pull, it's just going to come right apart. So for me, I like to go right down the middle on these flat pieces, just to make it so it'll go a little bit further. Serving, when you're serving a lot of people, you know, try to make it so as many people that want some can get some, for sure. Yeah, and see, like this right here, I mean, this is the end. This is kind of what I would expect, but definitely overdone on the end there a little bit, which will happen. And then it just kind of flakes and dries out and flakes apart. So, anyways, gonna continue cutting them about. I'll do a few more slices this way on this flat just to kind of get a little bit more for the people that like the leaner stuff, and then we'll go ahead and work on the point and get the marbleized meat ready for those people that like the marbleized. So there it is again, another piece, just super awesome, super tender. You can kind of squish it and squeeze. You can see here it's all together. There isn't a whole lot of these air bubbles, air pockets, so that means we didn't ruin it by inconsistent temperatures with pores opening and closing. Everything is really looking exactly the way that I want it to. Looking really, really good. It tasted great on that piece that I tried. Really liked it a lot. Good smoky flavor to it, but the seasoning isn't overpowering. You know, we didn't over season this, that's for sure. Let's try some more pieces right here. Yeah, that's great. So now we're gonna get to the point. We're gonna start slicing this one up. So part of this right here where this seam fat is, I like to kind of cut that out, just because it really just isn't all that great. It's just usually burned up fat. It's been taking on a lot of heat. You know, it's been right up front, and I know a lot of people like it and a lot of people will eat it, but to me, just isn't great. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slice this. So if you notice, I turned the point, right? So this right here is where the flat was. So we cut the flat this way, then get the flat done, get to the point. Now we turn it. We cut it a different direction. Again, we're dealing with two different muscle groups, right? Two different types of meat. So we have two different grains. So we're trying to cut these with the grains, both of them. So here's our flat, or sorry, our point. You can see right here, just nice and juicy, nice and tender. Right here is where the flat runs underneath the point. So this is going to be a little bit leaner. Typically it's not quite as good. A lot of times I'll just totally cut this out and we'll just use just this point meat up here, because it really, to me, just isn't good, isn't great. Sometimes I'll save it and serve it to people that really want it, but overall, you can see right there, there's your rendered fat. Just really, really nice, really, really great. Yeah, and this just, I mean, it's just stiff. There's not a lot of juice to it. So, I'm going to throw that one away. These, so for the point, I'll typically go just a little bit wider, more like 3/8 of an inch for width on these. I just find it stays together better, works really well doing it this way. So, get these pieces sliced up. For me, I'm more of a, I like the flat. My wife, half of my kids really like the point, so I typically will do both and cut up both, serve both. But if you're someone that doesn't like the point, if you don't like all of this extra fat, by all means, set this aside and use it for, chop it up and put it in beans. You can do that. You can put it in, that's just all fat. You can put it in, a lot of places use this for like nachos. So you can make nachos with it. You can make You know, chop it up, put it on like a sandwich. You know, typically with this stuff, you just chop it up, right? Don't usually just serve it like this. Like you don't usually go to a restaurant; they just give you a piece of it. I mean, a lot of them, if it's an authentic place, they will, and they'll ask you like, do you want the lean or do you want fatty, right? Or marbleized, sometimes we can call it. So, fatty is the point. Here's your fatty. Lean is the flat. So for this one, go ahead and just cut this out again. Just isn't, like I said, I know a lot of people like this and they're probably thinking I'm killing it, but this just isn't great. I just don't like giving to people, so we'll probably, and that we can maybe chop up and put in, you know, some beans and reuse it that way. Maybe restore some of that moisture, but for the purpose of this, for what I'm going to serve people to actually eat, we're just going to go with what I know looks good. And if you, you know, and if you are somebody who says, you know what, I don't really care, I want to eat this, like by all means, don't cut it out. Just keep it there and just eat it. Nothing wrong with it. It's all just, you know, preference and a matter of what you want, a matter of what you like. There we have it. Our brisket is trimmed. Our brisket is ready to go. Brisket is done. Ready to serve. So for me, you know, I typically don't cut this up until right before I'm ready to serve it. As soon as you cut this meat up, it's going to start to oxidize, going to start to gray, change color. Something I like to try to avoid. So of course, you know, I always wait till right before we're going to eat it, right before we're going to serve it, to actually slice it. A lot of times I'll even just wait until people are ready for it and coming up and getting it, and I'll just slice it and give it to them in the moment. But the important thing is you know, again, trimming right off the bat, trim it right, get it so it's air can flow well, and even if you're using a pellet grill and the air is not going to flow over it, you still want to have it be smooth on top so that if there's any runoff, it's going to run all the way off. It's not going to pool up on top of the bark. It's not going to pool up on top of the flat and ruin your bark. And then you also want to just really make sure that you don't over season it. Keep consistent temperatures. I don't recommend using injections and marinades. If you really want to, you can. But to me, I want to make the flavor of the actual beef stand out. Make it so when I take a bite of this, that I taste the beef. The beef is what I'm really tasting. I'm just trying to highlight that of what I'm doing with the smoke and with the seasoning. So clean smoke, don't over season it, don't overdo it, keep it simple. When it feels soft, when it feels squishy, when it feels done, pull it off and it's done. So that's pretty much it, you know, and then once it's trimmed up, just go ahead and serve it and start eating right away. Oh, I did want to mention though, so with the resting it, you know, I did let this rest all the way down to 140. Typically you want to, you know, get it to at least 150. FDA says, you know, you need to serve it by, can't really get below 140 before you serve it, but, you know, you can go as low as you want to. The longer you can let this thing rest, the better. It's going to be juicier, it's going to be better, it's going to be flavorful. The last thing you want to do is to spend half a day making a brisket, pull it off, and then slice it right away. You're just going to destroy it. It's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as tender, as juicy. Like, let it rest, let it sit, then enjoy it. So always plan ahead with your cooks. I always like to start from, I want to have dinner at 6, so I count backwards. Okay, that means I need to have it off the cooker by 2. So I've got 4 hours for it to rest. So if I'm in 2 o'clock, it needs to be off. I need to start at 2 a.m. to make sure I've got plenty of time to get it done. And that's really the way that you have to do it. There's no other way around it. So anyways, until next time, please, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Leave comments. Tell me how you think I did. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm happy to have suggestions. If there's something you want me to cook or something that you wish that I would show that I didn't show on this, comment. Just comment whatever you want to say. Just comment. Let me know what you think. I really want to have people's input. I feel like that's the best way to learn, and want to learn from a wealth of knowledge and wealth of other people. So please like and subscribe and help me keep this channel going. Really want to get my subscriber count up so that I can start to really cook more and do more cooks and do more different meats and make this successful and be able to help other people. Until next time.